Welcome back. We were almost also at that 1 hour cutoff. So this is going to be part 2. After the introduction, we're just going to be focusing on the questions that we received. Now, if any of you have questions, I know there was a bunch of questions in the previous live. Please type them in again and we will be taking only the questions this time around. Okay. Thank you for joining again. And welcome. I hope you found what we were talking about interesting or informative or intriguing, however it felt to you. Oh, I'm so glad it helps. Wonderful. All right, I'm just going to Praveen back. Just give me a sec. Okay. Oh yes, Praveen is here. He'll be joining us. Thank you for busting the myth that astrology is related to one particular religion. Yes, Divya. So as I wait for Praveen to come back on, I just want to remind you that Praveen does take sessions. And at the end of the live, he will be sharing how, if you are feeling led to explore more about this guide and if you think it's helping you or if it is helpful to you, you can always get in touch with him. Praveen, could you send me a request once more? And I'll get you on. Or I should be able to also invite. And if you have questions, leave them on at the end. I saw that you... Yes, I've saved the previous...
Reba, yes.
Hi,
I am back.
Hello again. Long since I saw you. How are
I'm
you
so
doing?
good, and let me start with this thing. I was supposed to start with this in the disclaimer at the beginning. I have a this is not an insecurity, but I know for a fact that I have a supremely pathetic English, and because the reason I say supremely is because I deal with the Navagrahas that I love and I respect it fully. The pathetic fact is because my grammar goes for a toss every single time. So it is okay. As long as you get, that is why I use my hands most of the time. No, so whatever you just said, I would say just good because I didn't understand half of what you said right now. So yeah, go ahead. Ask me the question.
Your English is not as bad as you think. Okay. So what I was telling people.
My astrology is much better than you think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was telling people that they can actually book consults with you, and at the end of our session, you will.
This session, let me make it clear to you. This session is because Reba is a very close friend who said, "Let's do it," and it's more like a jamming session for musicians. We are not selling tickets today, but because I don't want to make this a marketing thing. I do take this session, but this is just to enjoy. You can all jam with us, bring you new questions. Yeah. So let's not market it in any way, because I know, all of you are asking in my favor, but the point is, I really want to take it as a jamming session today where we are all chilling and enjoying answers too.
Yeah. Okay, we're just having fun. So let me read out the very first question that came in. When I put up the post and said, send in your questions. This question is from Arun Anthony. Arun is a good friend of ours, me and Paul. Arun lives here in Bangalore. And I found his question very interesting. He asks, what other factors are to be considered while reading astrology or the chart?
To have a very open, receptive mind is the first thing. To understand that the person sitting opposite you is just a human being making some characteristic. So take the logical conclusions, see if it's workable, use your brain to it, and then work it out. Secondly, look out the fact that it's an exploitative science. There is a lot of ways he can make you do a lot of things. I'm not talking about beautiful astrologers, wonderful astrologers, but there is also a side, feed on the fear, feed on the frustration, and tell them there is a remedy here. So that is also one thing. Just make sure. See, a person who is going to so don't get marketed into new stuffs. Take logically what is required. That is the simplest thing to keep. Exploitation, not needed. That is perfect. That is why I told about even the Dakshina is told in advance, so that if they know, if they are okay with it, they can come. You can't, because people know mostly when they come to astrologers, sometimes the people just check it like that also. But mostly when they have issues, they come. And there is fear, frustration, sadness, or something, some remedy needed. Don't feed on them by selling them stuff. I'm not saying any particular item as such. So mostly my remedies are always mantras. If it is the Christians, it is Psalms from Bible, and if it is the Muslims, it is surahs from Quran. They're all very powerful, absolutely powerful. Because a simple thing, the greatest luck in the world is acceptability. All that you need in this life is acceptability and health. Then you are the luckiest person in the world. Acceptability means people not being able to say no to us, and health is like to hold on and live happily forever. So, for example, let's say, how can we say no to Praveen? If everyone thinks that I am also the richest man in the world, I am happiest man in the world, I am getting whatever I want. That is a quantifying of life. Okay. So the point is, these two areas keep in mind. So when you're looking at astrology, the person opposite is a human being. They have motives. So easiest way, I never have an advertisement or of my phone number. I don't give my phone number. I'm very private that way. I don't give a phone number to people. Okay. But clients come to me from one client to another. Okay. So I always, when they ask me a question, I tell them, who gave you my number? Ask them how the reading was. Then tell them, if you still prefer to come. Because if I put an ad somewhere, then first thing in my mind is, okay, I paid 1,000 rupees for the ad. Now I have to cover it from somewhere. The covering starts happening. If I've invested in something to sell, okay, I have bought this much for 5. Now I have to sell it for 50. Where is the person? So there is a selling happening. That way, you are right. I am not an establishment astrologer. I'm not a commercial astrologer. But that's why I started saying that I do charge a dakshina. That when you said establishment, people will think that no, I don't. Yeah, I do charge an extra that I say. But it is same for the richest man in the world and the poorest man in the world. It doesn't change. I will not make a change for the smallest man, the poorest man or the richest man. And it is kept at a democratic level so that everybody can access it. And when they ask me how much, I just send a screenshot that I send to someone without the name, so that it is not just made for you seeing your name or anything. It is made there forever, and it is going to be the same forever. This is how it works. So Arun's answer is, just make sure that you are not exploited. Keep an open view. Understand what he's saying. Some things might seem a bit illogical. For example, let's say, to be put it very easily and nicely, December 2019 is when Corona was first, like Corona cases started coming. December 2019. Let's say in October 2019, when no one knew that world is something like Corona is coming up, someone comes to you and tells you, Reba, let's start a business. $1 billion will be given to you. But you have only two options. You can either start a hand sanitizer and mask business or an aeroplane business. What would all of us choose? Aeroplane. Because we never know the Corona is coming. But 2 months later, aeroplane stopped. Only sanitizers and masks worked. So choosing the logic of aeroplane is us. Sometimes the astrologer would pick. That don't go. Financially, it shows something wrong. He might not know Corona. Okay. But something is not right. He might be a war, might be Corona, whatever it is. But he will tell you that time, just give him the benefit of doubt. That is what I would say to follow when he's looking at astrology. Next question.
So the other question, it kind of distills many questions, is who is more powerful, you the individual or the stars?
You the individual or the charts?
Well, the stars is the question, but charts, astrology,
so which is
more powerful?
Give me the question again.
Who is more powerful, you the individual?
No, you the individual,
or the stars,
or the charts. What is the difference?
Yeah, or the stars which are in
What is the difference?
Yeah. Like, is it written in the stars?
What is the difference? You are that. You are that. Because, for example, let's say I might be a very dominating character. Let's say I'm not a dominant character. I am. Okay. Yeah, whatever it is. So the point is, so it is a placement of the planet Ravi in my chart. My spirituality is from the Jupiter. My thing for astrology is from the planet Mercury, because I have a yoga called the Bhadra Mahayoga. I have an exalted Buddha standing in Kanni Rashi. So that is what makes me an astrologer. I am not an artist. You ask me to do that painting, you think in 100 years, 100 lifetimes, I won't be able to do that. That's because our placement of Shukra is there. It's with us, Tina, our Tinas. So the point is, we are the stars, is what I believe. Now, I do not know how to differentiate between, because stars is making us. I will add one more thing. What is more powerful? All of us together. We our destiny, the stars, and much stronger free will, where you can decide that what has the stars given you, and now what to choose, the brain to choose what to choose now. That together gives us the power together. I mean, so I would actually complement it with another free will and make all of us together, makes it an entire thing. Let's say we have the free will and us, and there is no stars. It's like the brain and brilliance, but you don't have luck. You are in the wrong place.
Yeah. I think where we stumble a lot of times, in my exploration of it, my big realization was this is a helpful factor if I can use it for help.
Okay.
So a lot of times, I think the block has actually come from putting astrology, any of the divination sciences, any of the energetic sciences, they have all been put into the basket of superstition in the mainstream. Many of us are brought up in, right? So what really happens is we think we don't know how to integrate it. Whereas these are all things to be integrated, like when we're putting them as separate components. That's why I like that question that you asked, right? You are that.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Correct.
Because we are the amalgamation of all of these things. And when you drop your resistance and say that is unscientific, that is not intellectual, that needs to be put aside because that is Hinduism. Like we can find many, many ways of putting up walls. And then the more walls we put up, unfortunately, there are many helpful or complementary things that have existed for years that we ourselves prevent us from having access to.
Correct.
It's not really about exalting one thing or the other. It's actually about how do I weave it? How can I weave it all together?
Correct. Absolutely.
Right? Very often when it comes to health, I get this same thing, I got well. So is it the tulsi that helped me, or was it the amla, or was it? And for me, it's like everything.
Absolutely.
It's not one of them.
Absolutely.
The tulsi helps with this one thing, and your body needs all of it. Or was it the sunshine? Or was it my pranayama?
Or was it the belief of the? For example, I'll put it. Let me give it a very, very personal note. Once I kind of asked you some doubt, 6-7 years back, and you said coconut oil, Praveen, coconut oil. Okay. From then on, for my every ailment, I use coconut oil, and it goes off. So probably it's my belief in you. Probably Reba, you are the power that I believe in. When Reba said it is right, so it works for me, because see, our body picks up everything. Okay, very, very clearly. It's very smart that way. So it's a placebo effect. The placebo, they call placebo effect, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's placebo effect. Yeah.
I believe that is so powerful, and that is magic. If placebo can be powerful, what more magic is there in the world, right?
Precisely. That is what we are all extremely powerful people. We are all. If there is something that you need to be scared of in this world, that is your powers, because rest of the things you can handle. If you do not believe me, we really do not know how to handle our powers. And the moment, that is why when they say it is more like a metaphoric thing that we use only 10% of our brain, it is true. Because the only thing that is stopping us from flying is our brain. Okay? Because it is telling us it will fall. So the point is that also should we say a disclaimer right now that nobody should try it at home or something like that? Because I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, coming back. Yeah, you go to the next question. Ask me the question.
Yeah. So I'm going to just take questions that have come here, because 3-4 people have asked this. If you go to is it true that if you go to certain temples, and I'm going to integrate some questions that have come here, if you do certain rituals, certain homas, certain pujas, certain places you go and pray, right? Is it true that those things can change what is actually in your chart?
It's very simple. It's a very good question. Now, why do we choose the equator or closer places to equator for launching rockets? Because gravity is lesser. Okay, it's easier. That is the reason. Okay, closer to equator, the gravity is lesser. That is why it's closer to equator. It is always good to launching is easier. So or I might be wrong, but this is what I've heard. Anyway, the point is what I'm trying to tell you is, in regard to spirituality, the latitude and longitude of the place matters. Because there are places where, let's say, why Kalahasti is supposedly the place for Rahu and Ketu is because they believe the placement, the highest access point for any graha on Earth, like a ray, is kept at that particular area, and that is why it was built there. Like we could know that Kuja was Mars and it could have elements of the Earth. We knew some things earlier. Or the Navagraha temples are placed in such a way that in Kumbakonam are placed in such a way that the rays or whatever energy vibe is highest on Earth of that particular planet in that area. So they build a temple there. So just visiting the place itself makes a lot of difference to it, is what they say. So that is what, it does make a difference. Now regarding to Homa and the mantra, like I told you, my remedies are always mantras. Mananath, the word mantra means Mananath Trayate idi mantraha. Helps the one who chants. Okay? Helps the one who chants, not the one who pays, not the one who hears, one who chants. Believing in the dumbbell will not get you the biceps. You have to pick it up and do it. Only then you have your biceps. So saying the mantras matters, but each mantra is for each purpose. For example, Mrityunjaya mantra is called for health. That is for health only. Now there is called Rajagopala mantra. It's Krishna mantra. Om Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Bhakta Nama Bhayangara Govinda Paramananda Sarvam Me Vashamanaya. Everything should be in my favor about acceptabilities. Because then for courage, Narasimha mantra. You can't say for Narasimha mantra for health. Ugram Veeram Mahaveeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvado Mukham Prasidham Vishnu Bhadram Mrityu Mrityu Tamamyam. So each mantra is meant for each purpose. Let's say now they want like you want to know about medicine and coming to
medicine.
Yeah, you want to know about medicine, the same thing. They can't come to me, they have to go to you for the medicine thing. I mean, you know better about this than me. For astrology, they have to come to me. So that's how it works. So each mantra is for each purpose. Let's say even Psalms. Psalm 23 is for love. Psalm 91 is energy that gives about the holding of negative energies, as they say. Even the surah, Yasin Surah, one of the most powerful word energy is in Holy Quran. The Surah Yasin is one of the most powerful word energies. You can say it does wonders. So this is, in every religion, it has the elements. You just have to pick it up and use it properly. Got it?
Yeah.
Next question.
Because again, then it's about vibration and frequency and energy itself.
Absolutely.
And that can be, melded into many things. So is astrology 100% science? This is from Gautam, okay? He has like 4 questions. I'm going to put it all together because they're connected, okay? Is astrology 100% science? Okay. Can it define your life? I think we already covered that bit. How much assurances can it give? And will all predictions be true?
Yeah, I put it in a nice way. It's about perception. Okay, what is right to me might be wrong to you. What is wrong to me might be right. What is wrong to you might be right to me. Now, for me, is astrology 100% right? It's like, it depends on who says it, what they are saying. Are they making it accurate? Astrology as a science is 100% right. It is like saying, if I say 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, I am right as a mathematician. If I say 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, I am wrong as a mathematician. My interpretation just went off right. So the accuracy is based on, so the question is, is astrology right? Yes. Prediction can be 100% true or not, depends on the interpretations of the persons, of the person who's dealing with it. And it's not about one person. It is about the time he's doing it, his mood at that time, everything, it matters. So you can take it like I told you. I wouldn't give a percentage to it. It's like, that is why I told, keep an open mind, see if it is useful to you, make use of it. If not, don't. Simple.
Okay, so next question. Do you think the current written information about astrology is a mix of disinformation or best guess? Means there is a lot of misrepresentation. There's a lot of pushing it off like it's a superstition or it's not valid or it's something. It's not really all the time getting a place that it deserves or a recognition it deserves. Like this is something I've also observed. So the question is, do you think so?
I don't. Because I pay my IT, so I can say this. pretty nicely. I am one of the highest paid astrologers, probably in India or in, let's say, one of the continents. Okay. And because that's what I pay my IT just in case anybody is listening, you can check my accounts. I mean, like, no, I mean, IT people. You want? I'm this disclaimer guy anyway. So, and I pay. There is an option in IT to pay as dakshina. Do you know that? Just to put in that thing, there is an option in Indian income tax where you can say dakshina. You're getting. I pay my taxes through dakshina. Okay, as dakshina only. And that is the right way to do it. That is the money that's coming from astrology. Okay. Now coming back to the question that you were asking me about. What was the question again, Reba?
Do you think it's a mix of disinformation and misrepresentation?
Okay. That is the first question. The question is, see, the slokas about how the planets are standing. Okay. Now there is one of the slokas. I'll give you an example of one of the slokas. Okay. And I'll give you the last line. Always first three lines is the combination and last line is word the prediction. So that is about placements. They are not predicting it. They are saying that if this placements come through, then this is the prediction. So one of the prediction is Horadinade, Ribura Varendre, Pavanvate, Pavanavichide, Pavagrahanam, Grahanobayade, Jado Pragasho, Bhavadiha Martya. Okay. Now there are celebrities who go inside for different reasons and everything. There are crime and all this thing. Let's say I'm just giving an example of this one of the persons. I'm just giving an example. Okay. Now, Horadinade, Ribura Varendre, Pavanvade, do a sin that people consider a sin. Pavanavichide, to be a part of it, like a conspiracy with more than one people. Pavagrahana means for the particular reason going into jail. Grahanobayade, Jado Pragasho, Bhavadiha Martya. Also, because of this crime, people calling him as a man who is not human. Mahadi Martya means human. Mahadi Martya. Because his fame is also making people say that this man is a big criminal. There might be criminals who is doing crime 10 times more, but no, they will not be known. Because this person's fame becoming defamation, we know that. That is how it works. So, when you see the chart, let's say 10 years earlier than the crime being committed, okay, you tell the person your chart has a yoga to be legally into a wrong side because your chart has a yoga to see the inside of the jail. Be extra careful that doesn't come through. So the chances for that to happen will happen. Your karma again, the free will, the strong free will make a lot of difference to it. But the issue will come through because the action will come. The reaction can be controlled and it can be made a difference. That is how it works. Got it? Did it make sense to you?
So you think that, so you think that the attitude to astrology is not so bad. Like, what do you think?
That's what. If that was the case, then I wouldn't. If that was the case, I couldn't say that because I take 16 clients a day. Okay, so how would I say that the people are not looking at it? Yeah, people are for 21 years now. I wouldn't say that. That's wrong.
Okay. How can you free yourself of planetary influence?
Oh, stop believing in it. Easiest way to do it. That is how you free yourself from ghosts also. I was asking a friend the other day, how would I free yourself from fear of ghosts? Think that doesn't exist. Then nothing to be afraid of. So that is the easiest way. So free yourself. Don't think about it. Think that you have your hands, you have your legs, you have your eyes. You can see if an elephant is running towards you, you can see it. Then you decide to run or to duck or get it or fight with it. So that is the easiest way. There is nothing to, because I don't consider it to be freed. That is why I gave you that answer, because what you see, if you ask me, pain, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because I consider pain as the greatest thing that can happen to a person. Because let's say I'm sleeping in a wrong position and I have a small pain on my right hand side of the stomach, and then that is telling me you are doing something not right, Praveen. So let's high-five and change it. I change position. What could have entered into a rupture of a muscle later on, it showed me the beginning. So Praveen, change position. You are doing it wrong. So pain, people consider the worst thing or a bad thing, is the greatest friend. So use it in your favor. So that's how you use it. Astrology is the same thing. If you understand what is good, use it fully. What is not right, take extra effort to play it nice. So everything is good. Got it?
Stop believing. So the stop believing in it is actually stop believing that something else has more power than you.
Is one way to.
You are the one playing.
Is one way to do it, or saying that free will. You have a free. God or whoever it is has given you a destiny. and given you an option to choose one side. That is called free will. That is the most powerful thing and the most miraculous thing that can happen to a human being. Free will to choose which way to take, irrespective of what is given to them. Destiny is given them the road, okay, and the car. Free will is the steering wheel, where to pick it up, which side to take it. That is the greatest miracle that happened to a person. And good and bad will come through. You are just good, not God. So you just got to handle with this with nice, smart movements.
Okay. So next question. But we've answered this question. I'm just reading the question just to see that, how much astrology matches is relevant in arranged marriages? We spoke about this already earlier.
Yeah. Arranged marriage, right? I would say, even in a love marriage, I would suggest to get it checked so that people know not to stop the marriage. Understand, this much dosha is there, the ego clash issues there, both of you will be this much love, no? Because chart doesn't say it. So you take an extra cautious. So the next fight after 5 years will tell you that astrologer that day told. So we have to take extra care because the lovelessness creep into your relationship. Because you are married to the most handsome in the world, handsome man in the world, or the most beautiful woman in the world. Passion will come down with some time. You look at the same face every day. It will come down. Slowly, sharing secret intimacy also will come down. Then the only thing that is remaining is commitment. It will bring in a little bit of lovelessness. At that time, we have checked it. It is not very compatible. Let's put an extra effort and work on it. Because the astrologer has told that long back that we are not compatible. Let's bring back the intimacy and let's bring back the passion. That's how you work it. Got it?
It's a caution to make things better.
Precisely.
Not to split things apart.
Precisely. Right. But I would never say that just because you're in love with someone and the chart doesn't match. No, that is again, let me also put it very straight. Even if your chart is not matching, if you have fallen in love, go ahead and get married. Then let's see what happens next. Because you will anyway have regrets. You better have the regrets of doing what you want and then screwing it up, rather than not being able to screw it up. Not being able to do it. So the point is that, because I said this, don't think that I'm telling you that in spite of your love marriage, you have to just look at it and leave. No, you have to get married or you would be together. Okay, marriage, we have to be together. So the point is, use it as a torch and then work accordingly. Got it?
Okay, that's a great answer. Okay, if one's horoscope is brilliant on its own but doesn't match as a couple, can they still be successful? Why does progress in life depend on matching the horoscope? We talked about this, about the matching and bringing it to a balance and all that. Right? Here's a very interesting question. Okay, and this is one that most of these other things have come up in our conversations before, but this one I'm really curious about.
Who asked the question?
So the birthplace.
Who asked the question?
Nirosha Subramanian. Nirosha was here on the live before. I don't know if she's still here. Okay. So Nirosha asks, the birthplace matters, birth time matters, all of that matters, right? What if a baby is born on a plane?
On a plane, okay. Simple reason. I'll tell you. To reach that question, I will bring in a question that I thought would come in, but nobody asked. Okay, or probably it's there. Understand that simplest thing, where people sometimes there is a tradition nowadays where if it's a C-section, they look for timings. They call up astrologers and ask for what is a good time to have take there. So I have never answered that question. I always tell people we are all normal human beings. When you are healthy to have your baby in a C-section, so in normal delivery they can't, but C-sections, even the hospitals, they tell them if you want to have a time or something, they tell them. So I tell them, never give it to an astrologer. When it is healthiest for you to have the baby, have it, because we are not normal people. We are all normal people. Let it happen on its own because the child was supposed to be born that way. That's one part. Now, so that this is a very important question because nobody asked. I wanted to say this part. So never look at it. Do it when you're healthy. And the second part, question right now. Just because you're on a flight doesn't mean it. See, if you have ever been on a flight and you have that thing, it is clearly showing the latitude, longitude of where you're flying. Okay, which place you are. It is not about the place. Places are Mumbai was Bombay, Madras, Chennai was Madras. Names we keep changing. Mozambique was something else earlier, some different name. It is about latitude, longitude. That is in whichever troposphere, stratosphere, whichever it is, there is a latitude, longitude you have. That is enough for finding the place of birth. It is not a hard thing. Because now the softwares are so sophisticated, you can actually just put it in and you know the place exactly.
You have an app on your phone, right?
Yeah. There are different apps. Yes. There are very authentic ones also, which is not free apps.
So Nirosha has one more question added to that. So when it's a natural birth, a lot of times the baby's head comes and then there's a pause and then the rest of the body comes, right? Sometimes there can be even up to a minute or minute and a half difference between head coming and so which is actually taken as
I'll tell you this.
time of birth.
See, basically,
if the head comes, if it's in the body comes.
It is basically the Lagna, though we say that minute wise, we are looking for minute wise, second wise and everything. The Lagna ascendant changes every 1 hour, like 50, 55 minutes, almost 2 hours, there's ascendant change happen. Okay. So if it is in that particular time that the change is happening, okay, then there will be a substantial change in ascendant, which means ascendant means the first house. Then everything changes. So if that time, basically the first breath from the child outside is considered with when they start crying. That is the first, when they start crying, the baby start crying. That is the first. That is the time that we have to note, basically. But just because it is this side or that side, okay, the people are, is the time exactly correct? If it is, let's say, if it's an older person, it's a more older person that we're checking the chart and we're on call. It's easy to find the chart because, for example, let's say the Lagna talks about the person's face. Sharira varnakriti lakshanani yasho gunasthana sugasugani prabhava tejo bala durbalani phalani lagnasya vadanti santa. That means shariram, body, varna, color, agriti, shape, everything about a person. So, like you are looking at a person who is chart having a very thin ascendant, and you're looking at me. Then the astrologer pick it up. This is not his chart. It's very easy to pick it up. So then each Lagna has their own traits. So it's very easy to find that out. It's not a big thing. So you can act. When you see the chart, sometimes we ask, it is not matching. Is it PM or AM? Then they start doubting it's PM or AM. Then it might be AM. Then they'll call up the parents. So, and in regard to kids, like you rightly said, it's a time they cry because it is more like the first birth kind of. That in this world. Because this astrology is connected only to this world. Remember this. Astrology is always connected to Earth. Okay? So, that is your birth on the Earth matters. That means you are living forever. We are all souls that is eternally living. So, it's all good. Continue.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes, this is how it is.
Do we as humans have the ability to change our predicted future?
Free will, of course.
We address some of it, but if you're really focused, can you really change it 100%?
100%. No, simple thing. If I said that 107 death can be escaped with your free will, well, the rest of the things are all normal things. Karma.
That's true.
Are we changing into a moral science class in a way? We are just, I mean, it looks more like a moral science class. We're telling them karma is a thing, go follow good things. Yeah, go ahead.
Energy is real, believe in yourself. And this is this acronym that I'm going to share with you is actually Praveen's acronym. His philosophy in life is FLY.
Fly. First, love yourself. First, love yourself so that you are so much in love with yourself, you have enough to give. That's how it is. My single policy, I always say, drink and love responsibly. If you drink to be happy, you are an addict. If you drink when you are happy, you are chilling. Okay? Your happiness should be dependent on you. The second person only should only bring you more happiness. The day that he or she leaves, should go back to happiness, not to sadness. So this is two things. So it's all about first loving ourselves. If you love ourselves, we will not let ourselves be exploited, utilized, or our energy will be kept intact. Let's say energy intact. That's what matters the most. Continue.
Right. Okay, so we're done with these questions. I'm just going to look at the ones that we've got here.
Yeah, we'll give them a countdown like 5 minutes, next 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You think that we can give them a time where they want to ask something? And then we'll keep going.
Yeah, they've already asked. I'm going to read this, okay? Endana Nija Bhanga Raja Yoga. Okay. Aara ചോദിച്ചേക്കുന്നതെന്ന് ഇതിനകത്ത് വന്നിട്ടില്ല.
നീചഭംഗ രാജയോഗം. നീചഭംഗ രാജയോഗം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്.
Yeah, if the person is here, you can put in the comment that this is me who asked.
നീചഭംഗ രാജയോഗം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ബേസിക്കലി നമ്മുടെ ജാതകത്തിൽ ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ കോമ്പിനേഷനിൽ അതിനെ പറയുന്ന വേറൊരു പേര് ചക്രവർത്തി യോഗമാണ്. it is a planet debilitated. We're talking English. Okay. So if a planet is debilitated in your chart, okay, then you have to look for, that means it's powerless. You have to look for a nullification in the planet. For example, the slogan is which means that the exaltation planet, where this particular planets get exalted, the owner of that, lord of that Rashi should come in 1, 4, 7 of 10. Then it is Nijabanga Rajyogam. It is like fighting a war and coming to a point where you are nothing, and then from there rising like a king or an emperor. That is called Nijabanga Rajyogam. Sultan Hyder Ali defeated the British for the first time while he was going through his Nijabanga Rajyogam. He had to fight a war to win it. It was not a platter. It was not given to me in a platter. That's how it works. Next question. Technical terms, it will bore the people.
Yeah, but I get sometimes that dip is actually the beginning of the rise.
Yes, huger rise. It is more bigger than any. Nijabanga Raja Yoga is more bigger than many Raja Yogas. The people think that Gajagesa Yoga is big and everything. It is, Nijabanga Raja is one of the, it's called Chakravarti Yoga. It is also called Chakravarti Yoga, Emperor Yoga, Empress Yoga. So that has to be made use of.
But it is still going to be your karma that activates it.
Yes. But I will tell you what, because I cannot say the second person, that is why I didn't bring that up. Otherwise, I would have brought a conversation to ask you a question myself, where in Tendulkar's case, we told Tendulkar became famous because of his combination. So you could have asked me, let's say if he had not worked anything at all, he was at home doing nothing, lying on a sofa and watching TV, would he be famous? I could have easily counted it because there is a situation that happened lately. There's a name. If I tell you the name, you'll pick the name up. It was because of a tragedy that person was not, but it was not a tragedy. It was a war tragedy, but it came out successful in a way. Not a tragedy, something happened, but the person was alive and everything. This person has the same yoga that Tendulkar has in their chart. Okay. Now, but the person is now world famous for a particular issue, and though it was an issue that it was not a positive issue, a negative issue, that was it not a sort of a disaster or an accident. Okay. But because the person was alive and saved and everything, it turned out to be good for everything. Okay. Everybody and for the person itself. So if you look at it, there was an issue that happened there. But the person until that day was not known. Because of the issue, the world, almost every country in the world knows that person's name. So the person has the same yoga that Tendulkar has. Now so it was not hard work, and because Tendulkar's chart doesn't say about becoming a cricketer. Hard work only made him a player. Fame is a different story entirely. You got it? No, there might be a better batsman than Tendulkar born on that day, who might have played 364 days also. When the selectors of the Indian team come, he will not see, because he doesn't have the fame to be known as a player. That only made him a better player.
It's all the combinations, all of the layers.
Yes, absolutely. Got it.
Yeah. Now, next question. Can you comment on Nadi Jyotisham? Nadi
Jyotisham is actually based on that leaves. It's a different set of astrology where you use your thumb impression to this. What I have heard about this is it is basically from Vaidishwaram area it starts in Vaidishwaram area in Tanjavur district, and it's believed that 1,000 years back, or let's say few hundred years back, unlike we taking an afternoon nap, the astrology students after their lunch were asked to predict based on the planets who is going to be born and when and where, and that is why we go to Nadi, they say name so and so, born to so and so, place in so and so. But the problem is, it was more like a hobby. They only write till the day they come and check. After that, so you get your Nadi, and the copies of it is from different people. And I mean, it is copies are there with all the people who practice it. Now, from then on, it is the astrologer predicting it, who is sitting there. So that accuracy of that after is based on the capability of the astrologer. But until then, because for me to be known as Praveen, there should be some alignment. Got it? Anthony, did you get it?
That's the reason you're playing that role.
Yeah, because how many Sachin Tendulkars do you know? Yeah. That is the thing.
Yeah. So Divya has a question. People talk about Kuja Dosham and they say it affects marriage proposals. Please elaborate, and is there any remedy?
Kuja Dosham. It's called Kuja Dosham. Okay. And Kuja it is about Mars. Kujaha. born from the earth,
Mars.
Kuja dosham,
Yeah.
Chuva dosham, or Manglik. You just have to find someone with the same Baba. That is how you identify. It's like plus and I mean, it's like using the same. You have to choose someone who is in the same thing, like same Dosha should be there in the other chart also. Then it nullifies, and then it is no more an issue. But let's say you are married and you found out later that simple thing, like I told you earlier, you have to be cautious about certain things, especially in regard to the how we take each other for granted, especially, and all these things should be taken. I mean, like you have to like still be in love. That is the thing. That works better. You got it.
Yeah. Next question. What is Munnorgal Shabam? Ancestors Shabam.
I've heard this. This is not because it's some of the things. Let's say Naga Shabam.
It's not really
it's part of astrology, but I have not seen a sloga that ever reflects this. I have thought of it. I have mostly seen as astrologers using it to their their need or something, because there is no sloga that talks about it. They say that okay, that wouldn't be right. I mean, ancestor issue from past. It's also part of karma. But I will tell you a different, a little bit change to it, a modified factor which I believe in. Let's say Tendulkar has a yoga to become famous. I'm using Tendulkar because everybody knows him and I admire it. Okay. Now, Tendulkar has a yoga to be famous. Now, the heights of his fame is based on his father has a yoga where he will have a very famous son. Will he have a wife whose husband is supremely famous? So, depending on that, it can have a variation up and down to what extent the height is. So that works. That is how it is. Just as I told you, the begging and the lottery thing. Same.
I find that interplay of energies very fascinating.
That is how it works.
And very relevant.
Life itself is the most spectacular show. It should be fascinating.
It is.
It is.
Next question. Is karma related to things you did in your previous life?
Yes. Karma. There are two kinds of karma. One is karma you do in this life. And the other one, that is like I told you, the karma that helps you. The previous life karma is what made you this chart. This life karma is what is altering it in a good way so that the negativities of past life doesn't come in this life. That's how it works. Because you could have been born as son of Ambani or daughter of Ambani. You could have been born in Somalia in some poverty. You are in the middle somewhere and understanding things. You got Steve Jobs. He was 54 or 55 when he passed away. 14th richest man in the world at that time. Nothing could stop him from passing away. Think about it. So would you want to be a 54-year-old who pass away at even if you're 40 richest man? You would want to live to 80 even if you have 10 crore less. I mean you have only 10 crore in your hand or 1 crore in your hand, and happily healthy. That matters. That's how it works.
Right. Now, this is a very interesting question because I want to answer first, okay? Is there anything special about a moksha janmam, the last birth as a human being? Aishwarya is asking the question and she says, thank you. And I have been very fascinated by this thought, okay? Because for me, it's always like, who wants moksha from this life? Don't you want more of this life? I have this crazy thing. I don't want this last now again, and I want to have fun each time, But I understand. I hear this question a lot. I don't understand that.
Same. I would answer. So you answer the question for me also, because I am like, this is so beautiful a world. Why would you want to leave and not come back? You come back. My only thing I always tell people, this might seem funny or this might seem too self-obsessed in a way. I always tell somebody ask me, in the next life also, only 2 things I want to carry forward. Okay, the first one you will understand. Whatever I have learned, the slokas, I learned a lot of slokas and I want to take it forward. Okay, and I believe I have learned it in previous lives also. That's why coming to be easier is what I believe. I want to carry forward with this astrology and things and everything. Second thing, I don't want you to laugh. Okay, I want to look the same. Okay, I really don't want to change the way I look. No, because I know people like seriously. I said, but yeah, I can't imagine me as a talking person, the way I think, I believe, I want to look like this only. The hair should fall, I should be chubby, and I want to feel the same. And this is, you might think, what is that? This is how I can't think about me with the same brain in some other space, even if he looks like Hrithik Roshan, to be very frank. Okay, continue.
Can I make a joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you look exactly like yourself, but you're a woman?
I would love it. I mean, seriously, Reba, out of all the people in the world, you wouldn't ask me that question.
I really like that.
I am the greatest feminist you will ever see. And like I told, I brush my teeth because I want to impress a woman. I wouldn't brush my teeth thinking that this man should be happy seeing me. My life out of after the astrology, I love the fact you have read my readings, you have read my charts, you have read my my quotes in my books. I celebrate womanhood. This is Devi. If you look at it, it's entirely Devis here in different forms. My mother is the person I hold on to, and so I wouldn't mind at all. I would love to. That is the answer.
Beautiful.
That is the truth.
Right? But for the other question, is there actually a thing called moksha janmam? Is it there? Is it
very
indicated
simple.
in the charts? Can you actually see?
The moksha or samadhi. You have heard the word samadhi. Samadhi is more like a moksha. Okay. Now this is a glass. Yeah. This is the body. Because I'll give you in simple terms so that you pick it up what it is. This is the body. There is water in it. That is the soul. Now with age, this bottle can get damaged and the water can start oozing out, slowly you losing the water, which means you died because of old age. Okay. Now this is intact, powerful. Water is full. A stone is being thrown into it and it breaks. This is death due to accident. The water flows off or any kind of diseases or anything. This is called like normal death. Now this is a body intact. Even at 100, the water is overflowing. At 50 or 60, it starts overflowing. It can't hold. The water starts flowing more. The soul exercises. That is called moksha or samadhi, where you can't be a part of a body only. That is called stula. You can't be contained. You can't be contained. You become a part of the universe. That's called stula and suchma. This is called stula, the gross matter. Suchma is a higher energy. You go to a temple, you're looking at the deity, but you are not praying to the deity. You're praying to the energy in it. The stula is the idol and the sushma is the higher energy. So that's how it is. So moksha is there. Moksha is at a point, and moksha is not about sitting. See, people come and ask me this question. Like, we do all the good things in the world. You get moksha? Never. You will never get moksha. I'll tell you why. If you take a life to go through the bad of what you did, then you will also have a life to have a good of what you did. Because you have to be rewarded for what the good you did. So you give a good life. You will be born as someone in the user place, better life. That is why when in astrology, what my grandfather used to say is, if someone passes away before 7 years of their age, they are attaining mokshas because they might have done something beautiful in the last life. They have some good left. They have to leave it. So they are given birth to a good house, to a good womb, which is being taken care. They're taken care of like a baby nicely. They are, without knowing any lies of the world, they grow up pampered, nice, and before 7, they just pass off. They will never take a life again because they are enjoying the fruits of what they had enjoyed. That's my grandfather's concept, basically. And it made sense to me, a lot of this. So, moksha is about neutrality. Moksha is purely about neutrality. It is about no positive, no negative. And then you come to a point where you are in moksha. There is something called moksha janma, but at least I am much powerless or ignorant to talk about it fully because I have no idea.
So, next question. Suresh K. Nair asks, the question against Nadi. As per Praveen, the day we go, until that day they can predict. What if I go again after 5 years?
They will tell you the same thing from a different place or the same thing, and then they will, depending on the prediction.
Yeah.
They will say the same thing.
Where they are originating from the fixed place.
Yeah, because same thing, no? Because if they remember you, they will tell you exactly how from that time onwards. And the second part is, there can be a change in prediction. I'll tell you why. Okay, little bit change prediction. Because the astrologer, if he's still practicing for 5 years, he would learn more. He will understand layers of you better. Because what I have realized is this: in 21 years, see, when I started checking charts, I was 19. Okay, because you have a pedigree of your grandfather. That's another story. But end of the day, you have to do your own battles. So that you can't do that. So the point is, I have realized that sometimes when you start checking the chart after a few years, you learn new stuff. You see new case studies, like case studies, we see this combination that causes issues. So we see next chart, we pick it up. Probably we will have better predictions because we are all growing. We should grow, evolve in better ways. So that is how it works. That is how it works. So Nadi also, say like Sureshi asked, is there can be close, it can be almost the same, but if the astrology is evolved in a better way, he might find more good in it or more ideas about what is
good. And be able to
yes.
interpret the layers better. Yeah. So Archana asks, correct me if I'm wrong, karma has to be worked out. So if you read your chart and dodge your karma, how does it work? No, I don't think she's not understood karma and the chart properly. So if you're reading the chart and dodging your karma, how does it work out? Because then you can't work out the karma is her question. I don't think she has understood what karma is. Karma is the action that you're doing, and your chart is just a guidance system.
Correct.
Your chart does not determine what your karma is.
I'll put it in simple term. Karma is mostly the road already set with the bumps and everything. Or not karma, sorry, the destiny chart. Karma is the steering wheel, whether to fall into the pit or to stay away from yourself. Got it. I think she will get it again if you will be posting this video. No, it will be there in your Instagram page. I think if they see it again, they'll pick it up.
Go back and listen. Yeah. Okay. If a person dies in the most horrific way, is it that they have done such a thing in a previous karma? Why is your karma carried forward to next janmas when it can be dealt with in this janma?
Yeah, of course. Good question. Very good question. Karmas that's what I said. There is no plus and no minus is when you reach moksha. That's correct answer. That is how it works. Now, you can be dealing it this. For example, let's say you take a pen from me and not return it back to me, Reba. Okay. Then in my mind, you cheated me. Next life, I will remember. I will take a life to take the pen away from you and not return it back. This will continue until one of us forgives that, okay, it was something is there and it is there, forgive it. From then on, I will not take it, but to take. So when you do not have anything to do in the next life, to take back, to give back, to get back, you have a moksha. In other words, moksha question is different. This question actually the same thing. You can actually finish off karmas in this life itself in a lot of ways. And what was the horrific death question? I didn't understand horrific death part.
Yeah, is that the result of carrying over karma from another lifetime? Is that why sometimes you have a bad...
The pains in an extent is part of past life in a way, in one factor, the pain, because it's part of the chart anyway. Because how you, now Krishna, we believe, died because of an arrow. He didn't die aging. He didn't just diminish. He didn't just go off. He died because of an arrow. You remember that Krishna died because of an arrow from a hunter with venom. So there will be a way to die. Even some of the most famous spiritual leaders, some of them died of throat cancer and lung cancers. I don't want to name them. They were givers their entire lifetime. They started giving from themselves. So they have to die. There will be one way to die. That will come. That is part of your chart. It doesn't have, horrific is our word. We never know. They might have slept in and that took 1 second of this thing, rather than a person who was in hospital for 5 years and took all the pain and died. And the person in the accident, horrific, the accident didn't even know for a second what happened. So that is our perspective.
That's a good point, yeah. Next is, what is meant to happen will definitely happen. Please comment on this.
Yeah, then you don't have to look left and right when you're crossing a road, because you will die anyway or you will live anyway. So if everything is predestined, no, I'm not asking you to do it. If everything is predestined, it will happen. Then you don't have to look left and right. You just have to cross the road. And if you are meant to live, you will live. If you are not meant to live, you will die. Does it make sense?
Do you want to test it or not? Is a question that you can.
Don't test it off. Again, disclaimer here. Don't test it off. This is not to be tried at home, road, especially on the road or anywhere else. So that is also there. Again. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's a little bit more of a technical question. Are the things mentioned in Jnanapana about the births in different forms, how much of it can be true?
It is not related to astrology.
Gautam.
It is not related to astrology. So my idea of it would be very less.
Yeah, Gautam has a lot of interesting questions. It's about the Puranas, about the Mahabharata, Ramayana. Maybe we can have another session, Gautam.
Yeah, correct.
But let's keep it to astrology this time.
And I'll tell you good time and bad time in a simple way. Just faster, just before we finish. Abhimanyu, you know the Mahabharata Yuddha, the Abhimanyu and the Pandava and Kauravas. Abhimanyu belonged to the winning side, Kauravas. He was a nephew of Krishna and the son of Arjuna. Still he died. Yujutsu actually belonged to Kauravas who lost. But he didn't die. and he was also made the king of Hastinapuri after the war. Now this is Abhimanyu having a bad time, though in a winning side with the strongest of allies, he couldn't be saved. Yuyutsu in the losing side, though part of the losing side initially, and the person who lost, he still won because his time was good. That is how time works. So even in the worst situation, in the flight when it falls, you just have to be lucky. Because if you remember, there's one of the evacuation flights from Dubai to India, one person actually missed flight, evacuation flight, where he paid for the ticket, everything, he missed it on the road. And we waited for that for a long time. For 4 hours, and that flight actually had crashed in Calicut, I think. For 4 hours, he thought that he was the most unluckiest man in the planet for missing that flight which he paid lakhs of money for. But was it true? The 4th hour, he is the luckiest man in 7.5 billion people in the world because he just missed the crashing flight which he was supposed to be in. So what we think, what we want is probably not what we need. That's how your chart works. The need sometimes takes you there in a lot of ways. Got it? Because his karma and free will look at it. His karma and free will wanted to take that flight. He would have done everything. And 4 hours, I'm sure he thought he was the unluckiest person in the world. 4th hour, you think how happy he would be. And it's a true story, yeah? Just Google man missing flight, crashing flight. So this is what happened. This is how it works. Got it?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
And it's a confluence of all of those things, right? This is a very good question. It's from Mridula. And it's a great question. And I think it would be very good for her to get an answer. Would that be a karma of the parents? When a child passes before 7 years, would that be the karma of its parents? But her question is also making me think of a connected question is, how much does the karma of the parents affect the child?
To answer that question, I can actually go back to where I stopped somewhere about the flight crashing, where 350 people dying, and it only. So I told that people who have the people who have Kala Mrityu will die. Rest of the people will be saved. Also, the pilot of the flight has to have a yoga where from his hands this many people should die. Same way, they will only be born to a parent who in their chart is supposed to have a kid passing away. Only that way it will be born to. If you look at closely, they will have that Putranasham will be a part of the chart. In a way. Got it?
Again, it is not one or the other. It is all of them working together.
They will only be born that way. To a person who is supposed to have that lacking.
Right. This is going to bring me to one question that I have, and I think we can wind up Avatar Superpower. The Gautam's questions are like worth
Gautam is
another life.
A good friend of mine. Right? Gautam is he's like a brother. I've never met him. He's more like a reader of my books, but he's a very good friend. He's like a brother. So it's okay. I can answer his question. Don't worry.
Late answer, right? So, how do you explain unforeseen experiences?
That's astrology. It is about the future. It is never about this. That is unforeseen, no? Correct, no?
Yeah. So this whole thing, I think the one point that we didn't touch upon is that how can astrology see the past and the future? Where does it get that information from? It's all from what is written in the stars.
Because let's say when I'm reading a chart, the person is 35 years old. Let's say, okay. So what I do is, I don't know about others. I try to read an overview first, rather than going to the time right now. Because when my sessions are all about overviews first, then about the time right now, then the questions they can ask. Because overviews for me to know the chart fully. To understand that, because if you go directly to the time right now, it's like watching 10 minutes of a movie. It might be the best 10 minutes or the worst 10 minutes. You'll never know the movie is good or bad. So first, you need to know if the movie is good. Then you go to time right now. Then specific question. Because let's say a company that was doing excellently well in 2003 or 4. Okay, pretty famous. And then the person has to leave the country and go to a different country to not get extradited. And then coming to the point where they're in the bankruptcy. Think. In 2003-4, they have one of the most powerful companies. I'm giving an example. Just an example. At that time, if someone goes and tells them, not because of corona and not because of cancer, just because of your decision making, you are going to lose thousands of crores of rupees in your account and go into a very higher debt, run away from this country as a financial criminal, later trying to be extradited back to the country. Do you think they will believe it then when they have the money in the account, they know the skills of entrepreneur skills and everything? So, to look overview first matters. Now, if I tell about time right now is super and he's going into a dump after 10 years, somebody else, you better see the chart if the dump is there. Then tell him, start planning from now on, the dump doesn't come through. That's how you check the chart. Got it? Do you understand the point? What was the part of the question?
How do you explain unforeseen experiences?
Yeah, so we look at the overview first. Then we go to the time right now. Then you can ask questions. That's how I work out. And so for me, I prefer meeting the person only once.
The question is actually, how do you explain it?
Huh?
The question is, how do you explain that? The question is really about how does the stars have all of these things, right?
But that is...
How do you read these things? Where is it written?
Oh, it is written in the combination. Like I told you, the slogas. Each slogas will... Okay, let this, for example, the 10 sloga. Just to get technical participation, since you want to know the technical side of it. Hora Swamine Panjame, the Sugastane Shukta. Hora Swamine Panjame means the owner of like ascendant should stand in the 5th house or 9th house. Ascendant Lord should stand in the 5th or 9th. Hora Swamine Panjame. Yadi Sugastane Shukta Yada should be a benefic planet standing with the benefic planet and looked up by a benefic planet. Hora Swamine Panjame Sugastane Shukta Yada. Bhagye Vaidi Bhagye Mena Sakite. Also checked up by the 9th house. I say they. Like Yashasvi, there is a different one for a Yashasvi Pida, for becoming father becoming famous. This is a yoga for that. 9th house is about father. So now the point, not about Tendulkar. So the point is this combination has to come. If that comes, we can easily tell this person's father is a famous guy. We cannot know who the father is. We can know the father is famous. Do you understand?
Yes, I get that point. But the whole thing is like, from where does it come from? And I want to connect that to the other question that I have is, how is Eastern astrology?
I don't understand where does it come from.
Where is this astrology? Where did we get this from? How do we read it? Which is this energy that we read it from? Who wrote these things?
Oh, it was written by Varaha Mihiran. Many sages have written about it. Many sages have written by Varaha Mihiran, Yamana Maharshi. In fact, one of the sciences connected to astrology is Vastu. Vastu is connected to astrology in a lot of energy of the we'll go to another session, but it is written by 18 people. There is even a sloga that says that we believe that it's only Vishwakarma. No, it is not just a Vishwakarma. There is 18 sages. The names I am saying as a sloga is names of each sage who wrote Vastu related things. Bhrigu Atri Vasishtaja Vishwakarma Mayastada Narado Nagnajitcheva Vishalaksha Purandara Brahmo Kumaro Nandija Daunago Garga Evaja Vasudeva Yuddhascha Tada Shukro Brahaspade Ashtadashege means 18. Ashtadashege Vikhyada Vastu Shastra Upadeshaka. There are 18 famous Vastu sages. Same way, astrology is also written by Yamana Maharshi, Parashara Maharshi, like Varaha Mihiran. There are a lot of sages who have written it. And the chart is about the time you're born, the placement of the planets on the day you are born. That is it's connected. You got it? Did it make sense?
So where, in your opinion, where do you think that came from to the sages? Where did they gather?
It is an evolvement. Like see, the knowledge that we gain maximum is evolvement. It is not about. It's like asking, did the chicken come from or the hen came first? Which came first? The question is, do you like omelets or do you like chicken fry? If we don't, is it working for us? The point is that, do you understand? Like, where does it come from? It is been there, or then you have to start from the evolution. Where did the stars come from? Where did this thing come? Where's the Big Bang theory? What happened? Or is it like the seven? It's explained in Bible, or we do not know. But like I told you, my answer again comes down or boils down the same little thing. Are we happy? Is it useful? Is it working fine? Good. If it's not, I stop it. Be it people, be it science, or whatever it is. You got it?
Yes. And I think that's a great point to end on.
Yes.
I really want to explore. There is a difference between Western astrology and Eastern astrology, which is.
No, Western astrology is more. Vedic astrology is more like timing of events. Okay, because I am into Vedic astrology and I go through everything to an extent. I feel it is more enhanced, or It has more timing of events, like this particular time from this month to this month, not favorable. This time, it is not very generic. Now, let me also start with this end before that. Though you see that, okay, I wouldn't want to say that it will be against channels, but, or this, there is, you cannot, I put it the other way around, nicely. Each person's chart is simply different. Just because you're born in a zodiac, that doesn't mean that that particular time is going to be good or bad for you. Just it will, of course, it has a generic view. Definitely, it is summer outside, we can say. But is he in a room with AC? Is he in a room with fan? Is he in a room in hot desert? Or is he outside? That depends on each single person. So you can say that for this particular people, it is summer, for particular zodiac. But prediction based on that is a very difficult process in my limited knowledge.
Individualized.
Yeah, because it is different story. Summer outside, but I might be living in AC, you might be living in a fan, or other way around. Got it? No.
Yeah.
So yeah. So.
Okay. So.
I hope we didn't bore people.
I think. Well, we're just jamming.
Yeah, we're jamming. So it's okay.
Yeah.
We enjoyed, both of us. Selfishly, both of us enjoyed. So yeah, they also probably enjoyed. Yeah. So it's all good.
Yes. And maybe we should have a conversation on Vastu.
Soon.
Which is another thing that I find very, very interesting.
Soon.
Which I have experimented. Subha says definitely no, you haven't bored.
Oh, thank you, Shubha.
So much
thank you,
fun.
Shubha. You're so nice. Thank you.
Krishna Vidya also says. So I hope that certain things that were not maybe so clear, or layers that were not highlighted have come out, and all of you have had a good time listening.
No, what were not clear will be in due time. It will be, like I said, it's part of evolvement. We'll all learn it. So whatever is we shared is a limited knowledge both of us know. Okay, that is very simple. Let me just say that we are learning. Okay, and we will just. I always believe in one particular slogan, always, and it is not about astrology, but it's a beautiful slogan. It's like Kavya Shastra Vidodena Kalo Dechati Madam Vesanena Cha Murkhanam Nidraya Kalahenava. Kavya means, of course, art, literature, and things. Shastra is astrology or science or whatever science related. Vinodam means hobbies, whatever you have, passions. Kavya Shastra Vinodena Kalo Dechati Madam. The smart ones will live using all these things happily. Vesanena Cha Murkhanam Nidraya Kalahenava. The people who are not so smart will either be sleeping or worried or fighting. And you have the ability to be one of them. It is not set to one criteria. There is no criteria of this person is smart and this person is not. It is about a space where you should be in. So you should think and use it in that favor. So in a way, learning about people who are not clear about astrology, learn. This is one of the Shastras. It's part of being the smart ones, because it is not one person's monopoly. You need to know. You need to understand. So with time, you will go. We are giving a basis of it. You just get it up. From there, you can build from the foundation. Probably you will be better astrologers. So great. I wish you the best. That was just a very modest slide. Please don't take it seriously. I try to be modest once in a while, so it's okay. But you will never be. And that's the truth. And I'm on record. And yeah.
Right.
No, there's one more thing.
Right.
I had a 40th birthday lately, and someone, because I used to have this question because I started checking astrology when I didn't have a mustache, probably. So that in this field, it is in this field, age is a pro. It is not a con. It's a pro. It is good for the person. The looks, the tadi, the everything. I try to keep out of it most of the time. Anyways, it's graying, so it's okay. So the point is, the people are asking me but you are still, even at 40, you can't be in a criteria where you can be like Guruji or Astro. I don't want to be Guruji ever in my life. To call something, but the point is, it's about a gate, personal gate. I always tell, so why you can't beat me is because I entered into 40 with 21 years of experience as an astrologer. So it would be a very hard thing to beat me at one point. And also the fact that I am a constant learner. I do not know all the things in this world. In things I know, I am solid. And one of them is astrology. And the day when Reba asked me for the question, I was like, don't tell me the questions in advance, because I do not want to know. It should be one of the questions that was beautiful. That was, let me just say, which is the questions that I was like, okay. But yeah, then you uncover, try to think that point. plain one. The plain birth one was a good question. Okay, it was a good question.
Right.
And yeah, so because that is the only place I was like, okay, should I just block it? I was like, no, this has an answer, because this is one thing I have thought about once. Because when kids used to get free travel for being born on the flight, so I used to think, then where were they born? Then this is one thing I've noticed, but I've never thought of it for a long time. So that was for a second I was like, okay. Other than that, is all easy questions. I have pasted down a long, and I like to have it there. So Reba.
So for me, the highlight of what I learned that was absolutely brand new was that first breath on the earth is when you're connected to the earth.
Yes.
Like, people make a big deal about time when the head is out. And I had no idea that drawing the first breath, because sometimes babies take a few seconds to draw the first breath. And first breath actually happens much after the time of birth is recorded.
It is
about very, very
starting to express ourselves in this world with a cry first. Yeah. So that is your mark.
First time oxygen is going inside your lungs.
Exactly.
First time your lungs are expanding.
You're taking something from the earth.
First.
You're taking something from the earth for the first time. So you're connected. Your connection starts there. That is the answer for the question.
Right.
That is the answer for the question.
Yeah. That is an absolutely beautiful. I didn't think of it that. I didn't know that.
That is how it works.
So yeah, that is my highlight. Apart from spending this much time and talking to you.
Of course. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Sharing this time with all of you who joined us. Thank you so much. Just to give you an update about the live, it will be saved as 2 parts. I will label it part 1 and part 2 because we got cut off, but also we wanted to we had a break when it was almost that 1 hour mark. So that it will be uploaded as 2 parts. Don't worry, it is going to be uploaded.
Yeah, please send it to me also, Reba.
Thank
I would
you.
like to have it. Okay, because this is, I don't meet people, so I like to have it as someone think of, yes, this is when I met people. Okay, good. Okay, bye-bye, Reba. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for being a part of this thing, and thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right. Bye.